Oh, shit me. I've accidentally gone onto a porn site.
It's alive! Let's show this prehistoric bitch how we do things downtown.
How did you accidentally go onto a porn site?
I mistyped.
What were you actually trying to type?
Hotmail.
Oh. You dirty bastard. Well, welcome to Empire of Geek. And on the show today we've got firm, long-time favourite Raul. How are you?
Good, my friend.
Taking your time out of your a very heavy schedule of gay pornography viewing, aren't you?
Yeah, it's been quite vigorous this week, actually.
Oh, blimey. What a thought.
The amount of stuff I've
There'll be
got
some
on.
chafing.
Yeah.
We've also got Andy, the reigning, defending Ultimo Geek champion.
Hello, although I'm falling on bad times recently.
Yeah, but you're still 2 points ahead.
What's happened? Your girlfriend left you?
No, not about Ultimo Geek.
Oh, right, okay.
No, he's not won the last few, but at the moment everyone's in second place. That's where it is. You've got Florian in second place. Paul won last week. He's in second place. And Raul, you've just done shit recently. So you're in second place. So if Andy wins today, he's going to obviously pull ahead.
Yeah, but technically Andy didn't win the first one, did he?
He did, with guile and skill. So he is the champion.
With winner takes all nonsense.
No,
which
he
I
won
didn't
it.
agree to.
He won it. He won it. You did agree. If you go back and listen.
I
Fair
didn't
and
agree.
square.
I'm pretty sure I didn't agree.
Yes, you did.
Why would I do that?
Because you were a goon. And also we've got Dr. F on the show. How are you, Dr. F?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
Have you had a good week so far?
I have, yes, thank you.
Did you meet anyone from Torchwood?
No. No.
I did. I met the 456.
And oh, did you?
Oh, I forgot to mention, I met the 123.
Yeah. I met the 27A from Lincoln to Highcombe. It's my favourite bus.
456 is a good guy. I
Is
mean,
he?
the person that played the 456.
I was
not
guessing.
the
I am
456.
aware that there are fictional characters.
Yeah, well, the 456 themselves are pretty scummy. They're not nice people. Aliens. Anyway, let's carry on.
Yes, thanks for that. Anyway, on this week's show, we're mainly going to be talking about TV shows. When I say mainly, we're just going to be talking about TV shows because there was some film news, but a lot of it bored the crap out of me. So we're going to go straight into all the TV stuff. And like last week and the week before, this show will be split into two. We've got all the kind of TV and general geek stuff, and then we do all the kind of comic book, fan film, and geek music face-off, which we had last time. We had the first one last time. We had Mr. T versus Macho Man Randy Savage. We've got two new contestants for this week. It's going to be close, I can feel it. So the first thing we want to talk about is the new TV show Sense8. It's by J. Michael Straczynski, who you'll remember from Babylon 5, if you're a fan of that. And also the Wachowskis, who you'll remember from things like The Matrix, Cloud Atlas, and one of them changing her gender. So we watched the trailer. I
didn't know that.
Yeah. They've started off as two guys.
Yeah.
And now one of them...
Hence the Wachowski brothers, or whatever they were called.
Yeah, now it's just the Wachowskis, because one of them wanted to be a Wachowski sister.
Right.
And so she changed. He changed into she. So what this is going to be, it's going to be on Netflix, and it's what happens is, this is the kind of blurb they gave with it. One moment links 8 minds in disparate parts of the world, putting 8 strangers in each other's lives, each other's secrets and in terrible danger. It's going to be 12 episodes. It's set all over the world, and it will launch Friday, June the 5th on Netflix. Very similar to Daredevil. I imagine it'd probably be, I'm going to guess it's all going to be in one go. So we watched the trailer. Raul, we'll start with you. You've always got a lot of opinions. What did you think?
Oh.
Can
Honestly,
you put it in words? Use words.
I just the thing that put me off it, and this is probably completely wrong, is that you've got the Matrix people behind it, and I just don't like what they do.
You didn't like the original Matrix film?
I just thought they were all a bit crap.
Right. Okay.
See, I wasn't a fan, and then this completely goes against everyone else. I wasn't a fan of the first Matrix film. I liked them the further they got on, and everyone else always goes on about That's not Raul crying. That's my baby son in the background. I liked them as they got further on because they just had so much stuff that you could see. And I know everyone else says no, they got shitter as they went on. But for me, I just really enjoyed. I liked seeing the kind of dirty underground rave city with all those grubby bath dodgers. And I liked all the machines digging down. I enjoyed it as they got later on. But
Fair enough.
I think the premise, the concept sounds alright, but I just know it's going to be rubbish because it's behind it's by the guys that did the Matrix.
But see, I think they've got loads of vision. That's what they're known for. They go into real depth. The thing I loved most about the Matrix was all the stuff around it. The computer game for the Matrix. Did you play that?
No.
The computer game wasn't just a tie-in with the film. It was a separate story that interweaved with the film, like the Animatrix as well. They did a series of
I've seen
animations.
bits
I
of
thought
Animatrix.
I thought it was just milking the cash cow.
It is, but there's doing it craply, which is, for example, I would never buy any of the Avengers animated little series stuff because for me it just seems like we've made the films. Let's turf out an animation. The Animatrix was separate individual little stories, all animated in different ways, that all interweaved with the main storyline. I thought it was really clever.
Yeah, and they were quite good as well. I remember the one about the 100-meter runner who sort of threatens to break the Matrix by running like 100 meters in like 8 seconds or whatever, and he's warned that he will basically die if he continues this pursuit. And it's just this threat coming up out of a perfectly normal, well, not normal pursuit, but out of the pursuit of excellence. So I think it's quite interesting. But I agree. I liked the first one because obviously I immediately thought of after the film I enjoyed it first, and then I swore a bit at Keanu Reeves, and then I actually remembered the origins of that story. Well, the origins, I say, but it's obviously very reminiscent of the cave analogy in Plato's Republic, and that's
Which we're all familiar with.
Yeah, but it's essentially the idea that we're all we need to be shown the truth by sort of philosopher kings, and some people will choose to go for it, and some people will choose not to go for it. And that was basically Plato's sort of justification for why he should be ruling everything. It's not quite like that, but it's it's not. Obviously, that's not where the Matrix went.
I can just imagine Plato probably wearing a nappy of some sort, because all the clever people back then seemed
Gandhi,
to like doing that.
Yeah,
standing there explaining to everyone, and that's why I should be king of the world.
Yeah, no. I thought I liked the first one. I didn't like the second one so much, and the third one was rather heavy on the Jesus analogy with Keanu Reeves, particularly at the end. But it was only at the end, so there were some cool special effects still in there,
Yeah, I think a lot of people did say that as it went on, it lost some of what they found that they enjoyed in the first film. But I don't think I watched the first one properly.
I thought the first film was just about all right, but not really.
I thought you'd have loved that. You could have easily imagined yourself as because you're well known for you'll watch a film, you'll come out of the film, and then you'll pretend that you are the character.
Only with Blade.
Yeah, what did you say you wanted to be? You wanted to be Blade, the Gypsy Hunter, I think it was, wasn't it? and let me just say before you say anything, I'm not editing that out either.
I didn't say that. You just said that.
I know I just did say it, but
unacceptable.
I didn't see you leaping to say that was made up. Are you now going to do that in the light of the racist kind of slur that I've laid at your door?
Well, it was a time when some jippos did my car over.
Oh my god!
Well, no, back when we started to agree, there was a big gypsy camp nearby, and the little ginger one. I told the story about I probably have. About when I was working at the petrol station, the little ginger kid punched me in the bollocks.
It's
not a normal reaction, or just if you're that height.
Honestly, the kids.
Can we just let the people listening that how tall are you? 6'4"?
About that.
You're 6'4". You probably weigh about how much? 18, 19 stone.
About that.
And so this was And how tall do you think this kid was?
He came up to my balls.
And they hang quite low. So he was about knee height on a normal human. And what? So tell us a story.
Well, I'm sure I've told this story before about when I was working in the petrol station, and these little gypsy kids came in, and all the customers told me to be careful and watch them and be mindful and all this. And I was all like, live and let live. You know, they've got just as much right to be here as you. And the bloke was like, you'll regret. You know, you sure? Because they're scum of the earth.
Bastard.
Exactly. You left-wing commie bastard and all that. Anyway, they all left. All the customers left the shop, and these little shitheads, these kids, these gypsy kids, trashed the entire shop. Honestly, there was pot noodle all over the floor. There was just. They just like sacked.
A massacre.
It was a massacre. They nicked all the Mars bars. They just sacked the place. There was
They
sandwiches.
sacked the place.
They did.
Like the last days of Rome.
It was the last days of
With
Rome.
pitchforks.
It was
and
only
torches.
I was like the Roman or civilized, and they were like a bunch of bloody barbarians trashing the place. Anyway,
Quintus, they've come for the Mars bars.
this is the mistake I made. I thought, right, I'll have you. I locked them all in. Locked them in the shop.
You kidnapped them.
Well,
citizen's arrest.
Well, let me explain. It wasn't quite kidnapping. I locked them in, and I said, right,
Against their will.
Well,
You detained them against their will.
I detained them. I did a citizen's arrest.
So that was where you broke the law.
I did a citizen's arrest.
Do you know how hard it is to do a citizen's arrest?
I said citizen's arrest.
It's,
Hands up.
and have it stand up in actual court.
So yeah, but they just raped my shop. Well, it wasn't my shop. It
Followed
was.
by you after.
Sorry, listeners, that's a horrible mental image.
Were there any celebrations left at the end of it?
Have we got-
They ate all the Maltesers do.
So anyway, so I locked them in the shop, and I said, right, I'm going to keep you. So I'll keep the ginger ones. I thought he won't fight back. And I said to the other two, you two.
Show me your balls.
No, I said, you two, come back here with your father. I want to have a word with him. Which was stupid.
Come back here with a slightly bigger, more threatening gypsy.
Yeah. Well, I want to have a word with him because this is bang out of order. You've ruined my shop. I'm going to get in the neck. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, as soon as I opened the door to let the two kids out, the little ginger one absolutely laid into my nuts with the full force of his jippo fist.
Not just a human
honestly, it's true. In Snatch, right? They're like born to like box and stuff. Have you seen the film Snatch?
I have.
Right.
I don't think, and Florian might know, he's a scientist, but I don't think there's a genetic development called Jippo Fist.
Well, honestly,
Gives them the ability.
Unless it's a superpower,
Honestly.
in which case it's awesome.
He hit me so hard.
Did they use it like a speed bag?
Exactly. He hit me so hard. I felt like I had mumps. I went down like a ton of bricks.
Did you cough up a testicle?
I was screaming in pain. I was in absolute agony. In fact, that's probably why I've only got one of the bloody things.
Yeah.
I'm hobbling on the floor. I crawl out of the shop. Of course, he'd like legged it. I forgot to mention that. As soon as he lapped me in the knackers, he legged it. I crawl out of the shop.
I could just imagine you crawling as they
This
running
just
away.
reminds me of your barbecuing. Crosby pulled on your plums.
Again, for the listeners, don't be aware that we had a barbecue and with another friend called Crosby. He's a bit of a knob, and
Stills and Ash, how are they doing?
yeah, they're doing much better without him now. He's a big guy. He likes to. There's something slightly kind of homoerotic about him.
He's bigger than me.
Yes, he's bigger than Raul. He's well known for he likes to get the guys together and do a bit of what's called positional dominance, which is basically he pretends it's self-defence but lies on top of them with his balls on their face and then tells them to try and wriggle about and get out from under him.
He's a knob.
Yes. So and we had a party and him and Raul got into what was
No, I was minding my own business, and for some unknown reason, I was just sat
he
there.
tugged
eating
on
my
one of your
burger.
nuts, didn't he?
He did. He just put his hand down my pants and yanked on one
Pulled
of
on
my
a
knobs.
plum. Pulled on a plum.
And then you were
Nuts,
crawling around.
His
Just remember you
multi-cocks.
crawling around.
Well, I was in pain, wasn't I? You're not meant to have your knackers squeezed by a big ogre.
So you crawled after these.
Yeah,
this
so I
traveller.
crawled through the door.
Can I just say, listeners, that traveller is the correct term.
Jippo. I crawled through the door.
Oh my god! I think that actually counts. That is
Racial incitement?
yeah, that is almost racial incitement.
Well, look, I changed my views that night. I used to be very liberally minded, but since then I've hated all of them.
That I can't imagine.
So I crawled.
Raul liberally minded.
I vote Liberal Democrat, me. So I crawled through the door on my hands and knees.
They won't have you in the party anymore now.
No.
Well, they need everywhere they can get.
I crawled through the door on my hands and knees.
Through the pot noodle.
Through the pot noodle, the sea of pot noodle.
That was a Bombay bad boy.
Just imagine the scene, listeners.
I had a job once putting the sachets of crap in pot noodle as well, but that was...
Sachets of, I don't think they were supposed to
the
be
machine
sachets
broke
of crap.
down, it was a summer job. Anyway, so...
Little tangent there for the listeners.
So I crawled out through the door on my hands and knees,
Why?
tears pouring down my eyes, and the racism building up in me towards every little single pikey ginger little sod that wants to punch
Well
me in
done,
the
that's
nuts.
keep score. That's the second racist slur
Yeah,
that Raul has used.
Is he going to make the hat trick? That's what I want to know.
And I look up, and there's this big bloke.
If it's a black man, because that'd be perfect. that would round it out.
No, he sounded Irish. He was absolutely massive, and I said, "Are these your lads?"
Are you still lying on the floor?
I'm still lying on the floor looking at them. Are these your lads? And he said, "I won't do the accent because I can't do it."
At a moment, I imagine your voice is like, "Who's your lads?"
Yes. And he said yes, and I said, "They've just ruined my shot. They've smashed it up." And he looks
Did you
at
roll
me.
over slightly when you said this to point at him? Or were you just on your front?
I was kind of like on my side really because I couldn't lie completely flat.
Yeah.
So,
Because of your throbbing nads.
because of my throbbing nads,
Continue.
I honestly thought I'd have to go to casualty. I thought I've split them. It was that painful.
They were unravelling down your trouser leg.
So I said to the
traveller elder.
the pikey father.
Oh my god.
I said to him, "Are these your lads?" And he said, "Yeah." He looked me square in the eye, looked his lads, and he just smacked them both round the head and said, "That's for getting caught." And they all walked off. So
that's all of them tarnished with that brush. Let us say that Empire of Geek does not support any of Raul's stories and or words.
You're going to have to put a disclaimer on the show, you know.
This is me
The
doing the
views
disclaimer now.
expressed are not necessarily...
I agree with pretty much everything that Florian and Andy says. Raul, no, not at all.
And there was the time that my car got broken into. And it was the same group of people.
Did you see him doing it?
The CCTV saw them doing it. I had a knock on the door from the police in the morning saying, "It's all right, we've caught them, blah, blah, blah." And they gave me £6, but it cost me £75 to get it fixed. Where's the justice in that?
The police gave you £6.
No, it was like some fine thing they were given, and of which I got £6.
Oh, better than a kick in the bollock, though, isn't it? Really?
Oh,
A punch in the nut. Anyway, so Sense8, this story about these people who, due to some kind of death, they all have the ability to see each other's memories. I know you just said you don't like the Wachowskis, and then you went on to Gypsies for some unknown reason, or Travellers. But it's also directed by J. Michael Straczynski, who I said is to do Babylon 5, and I like a lot of the stuff he does.
I actually like Babylon 5.
I love Babylon 5.
I think for a Star Trek fan.
Particularly when the shadows came into it. That stuff was absolutely gripping.
After that, it sort of goes a little bit downhill.
I think they reached such a peak. Again, we're not talking about what we're meant to be talking about, but it reached such a peak with the Shadow Wars. I could not wait for the next episode of that.
Yeah.
It was just so exciting, particularly with the idea of the Vorlons of these angel-like. We were supposed to be angels to other cultures, but weren't particularly all that nice, really.
No. Yeah,
and then
they used people,
And then Bruce Boxlight as... incidentally, when I was writing the Geek quiz today, before I decided, Ultimo Geek, to do it about Star Wars, Bruce Boxlight was actually going to be one of the questions. Going to be a Tron question. Who plays Tron in the film Tron?
I would have known that. Tron's my favourite film.
And it's... Well, damn it. Unfortunately, that's...
I would have got 1 point there.
Bruce Boxlight was going to be the answer to that. Yeah, I freaking loved that. So there's going to be a massive cast in this. Naveen Andrews, who you'll know from Lost, is going to be in it. You've also got, where is she? Daryl Hannah.
Yep, Splash.
Yeah, Splash, and also played Elle Driver in that Quentin Tarantino film, which I've bloody well forgotten the name of. Kill Bill, she was in all them, and a ton of other people. So it looks...
Prima Argument, of course, from Law and Order UK most recently, and then before that,
Doctor Who, yeah. And Joe Pantoliano, who, if you want some kind of cut-price kind of gangster-type actor, he is the tops at stuff like that. So I think it's an interesting story. I don't know how long it'll go on for. I can see it maybe getting 2 seasons and getting a kind of real cult following. But I think I like the Wachowskis. Have you seen Cloud Atlas?
No, I haven't actually. I meant to watch that at one point.
I started watching it and I fell asleep because it's one of those films where there's so much stuff in it that I really want to like, but it's for me it just started to bore me quite a bit.
Slow moving.
Yeah, the trailer's the best bit of Cloud Atlas. It was very slow moving. Yeah. This idea of these people who through different time periods meet each other again. Yeah. I think that was what it was about, but I can't remember too much. So, Sensei Andy, you weren't here for the trailer, were you? You turned up late.
Unfortunately, no, I missed it.
You shit.
So what did you think of it?
Yeah. Make something up.
Well,
it was beautiful.
I think I'll just wait for Raul to state his opinion because he's never really wrong on these things.
Yeah.
And then go with that.
I shall put a disclaimer. I'm sorry if my talk of pikeys and Gypsy offended
Oh
people.
my god.
But if they don't go around smashing in my car and beat me up, I'd think differently.
You can't use the term pikey and Jippo while you're apologising.
It might be a bit disingenuous.
I am very sorry.
Sense8 sounds a bit like one of these children's games, doesn't it? It's like Whop It and the Sense8.
Yeah,
like
Sense8. I used to love Sense8. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Came with a little knight that turned around on the
I thought that, yeah. Was it called Sense8 or something?
I can't remember. The one we had, it was and this again, listeners, we're going all over the shop. When there was a game, it had the robot, it was called something like the robot game, the one I got. And it had a robot that was metal that held a sword, and it would magically turn. And during the game, and it must have been done through some form of magnetism, but I remember as a kid, it was genuinely magic. And even now, I understand it was to do with magnetism. I'm still not sure how it works. Yeah. I'm scared that if I ever see one of those and buy it, it'll ruin it.
Yeah, don't do that. No, you should never read stuff that you've read when you were 15 or... So it doesn't hold up.
There's something about that was...
The Sense8 one, I think, is the one where you've got like 4 lights and you get to press a button in a sequence. It's like basically like a memory test.
Oh, there's Bop It. You play Bop It?
Yeah, Bop It is the same.
Bop It?
Look, I'm older than all of you put together, so... near enough.
I'm not sure about
that. But in terms of gadgetry,
I don't think your math stands up on that one.
Maybe not.
So that's Sense8. It looks really interesting. It's going to be Netflix, and Netflix have been hitting the ball out of the park recently with the different shows they're doing. So
I saw all Daredevil. I like it.
I've not watched it. I'm savouring Daredevil. I make the mistake with TV shows of watching them all too fast, and then I start to sit thinking it's going to be another year till I can watch it again. Yeah, I'm enjoying it and I'm making the most of it at the moment. But it is good, isn't it, Daredevil?
It gets better towards the end as it goes on.
It's good at the beginning, so I can imagine.
Well, that's the point I'm trying to make. It's good at the beginning, but it gets even better.
I just think that the characterisation of the characters in it is so good.
He's way cooler than I used to think Daredevil was rubbish.
If you're going to diss Batman again, we're going to have a frigging argument. But,
but I now think Daredevil's better than Batman.
He's not better than Batman.
Yes, he is. Batman. Yes, he is.
No, he's not. And we're not having 15 minutes of me going, yes, he is, and you going, no, he's not.
Yes,
Batman is way cooler, clearly.
No, Daredevil's cooler than Batman.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Did you hear what I just said? So let's say I'll be magnanimous, if I can pronounce the word correctly. Magnanimous, and let's just say Batman's better. And I'm editing you out if you say anything else. Batman's better. Right, so let's move on. Batman is better. That's gone. Okay, so that was Sense8, and it looks quite interesting. And then we looked at the trailer for Jonathan Strange and Mr Norrell. Now, we spoke about this on an earlier show, but I've got to say, everything I've read about it says, people who've seen previews say it's really good. They say it mixes this kind of feel of the Napoleonic kind of wars time period and the fantastical in that world. They reckon that the actors in it do a smashing job on it. Mark Warren in particular is picked out as someone who is awesome in it. The only thing I've heard so far about it is I think there's something like 8 episodes or so of it, and they've said it's not enough. They want more of it. It looks cracking.
What channel is it on? BBC?
It's going to be on the BBC, yeah.
So you know why there's only 8?
Continue.
Because we've got a Tory government and they're going to be getting rid of the licence fee.
Not even funny, but this show has already been filmed.
Yeah, it's a bit too late to pull one show in order to save. money.
If anyone's listening to this, say months from now, that we've just had an election in Britain at the moment, and Raul's happy because his Tory boy scum have got in. So you're well chuffed, aren't you, Raul?
Well, yeah, compared to the alternatives.
What was that? Did you not want Labour to get in?
No.
Did you want the Lib Dems to get in?
Yes.
What about UKIP?
No.
After your previous rant,
They'd be Daniels.
you love that. Ship them all out.
Well, no,
They're
not
probably
all
a
of
bit
them.
mild for you.
Did you want another coalition?
I would have liked another coalition, yes. Yes.
Because that worked out well, didn't it, over the last few years?
Well,
Particularly
did.
in the beginning, when the Lib Dems were so out of practice that every time the Tories had a nasty policy to announce, they would say, "Oh, Lib Dem colleague, friend, would you like to announce it?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yay!
Good
What
job
am I
they didn't
announcing
fall for
again?"
that.
the thing is, what I think the Lib Dems did was take a lot of the heat out of the Tory fire.
And take all the flack from every decision.
Yeah, human shields.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they did stop the worst excesses. You know,
not so sure.
well, you're paying less tax now.
I'm not actually,
Why not?
because my pension contributions for my job have gone up massively.
Well,
Thanks very
nothing
much.
wrong with that. You benefit from that.
Do you really, though? Do you
Yeah.
really?
But it's gone from a system where we actually got out what we paid in to a system where we're now massively paying more.
It never
in.
did, though, simply because the existing pension system was basically a pyramid system. What we're paying now into our pension pot is being used to pay off the old people that are alive now.
To pay them off. Where they're going to go.
Here you go, Grandad. Here's a fiver.
Actually, they do that themselves, don't they? If we go the UKIP way, and we basically say all foreigners out, and every other country did the same, there'd be a million less foreigners in this country, and 1.2 million would have to come back here. Most of them pensioners from Spain.
That's true.
Well, they
Also,
come back here
you get a
anyway,
lot
when
of
you get it.
Eastern European workers in care homes.
Oh, God, yeah.
Again,
We went to the hospital, and
the whole
if
system
it
of
hadn't
collapse, yeah.
if it hadn't been for foreign or at least sort of second generation immigrant kids, we wouldn't have
Taking
seen
our
anybody.
jobs.
Taking our jobs, being clever and more hardworking than we are, making us look shit.
Well, you're an immigrant, aren't you?
Yeah, actually, that's I forget sometimes.
bias.
Yeah. That's all right. You can have my job soon.
Oh, it's all right. I wouldn't want it.
So Jonathan Strange and Mr Norrell. It looks really interesting. As I said before, if you listen to the earlier show when I mentioned that it was coming out, it's this idea that magic has long since magic has long since been lost in England, and then two men are destined to bring it back. And you've got Mr Norrell and the daring novice Jonathan Strange, and I'm pretty sure it's Mr Norrell who makes a deal with the thistle-haired man who's this kind of slightly dodgy creature from another dimension, to allow some woman to come back to life, and then that basically screws everything up for everyone. And they end up kind of falling out, and the trailer, I thought, looked brilliant. I really liked the look of it. I don't know what the rest of you felt, but it made me want to see it.
A lot of British series look absolutely crap because they don't spend the money on the special effects, and this one, or even the surrounding things. And this one looked really, really good.
That's exactly what they've said about it. They've said that as far as special effects goes, they're saying that this isn't the people who made it, because obviously they're going to lie, aren't they?
Yeah.
But people who've seen it have said there's only really Game of Thrones that they see out there which has anywhere near the
That
special
probably
effects.
explains why there's only 8 episodes then.
Because it's really expensive to make.
It's really expensive,
possibly.
yeah, to do that level of visual
And the
effect.
BBC don't like to take risks if they can, do they? In fact, in Britain, it's
Well,
always been a thing.
I would say that's unfair. I'd say the BBC does like to take risks, but it doesn't like to...
Not a risk where they would never commission an American-style 22 episodes. straight
No,
out.
no, not on that. But that's only really because they haven't got the finances to do that. They'll tend to incubate a lot of stuff on BBC Two, and
Put it on a new cool channel, then shut that channel down and make it just digital.
no BBC Two.
I know, but I mean that's what they do. They'll put stuff onto stuff like BBC Three. Everyone loves it, and then we're going to make it just digital.
What's the problem with that? I mean, if you look at this, the statistics surrounding BBC Three, more people watch.
Have you got these statistics with you?
Not immediately to hand,
So you're making it
I
up.
couldn't believe you.
but more people watch BBC Three on their tablets and other devices anyway, so it doesn't necessarily need to be broadcast over the airwaves.
I want to watch it on my telly.
Well, then you just plug your bloody laptop into your telly.
I can't be arsed doing that. I want to watch it on my telly right away, and I want to have my laptop on at the same time.
You're still going to get the same
Writing Empire
quality.
of Geek.
You're still going to get the same quality
The
of
show is a
programming.
script.
You're still going to get the same programming.
The problem with you, Raul, is you
I
only
didn't get
see
the
things
script.
through your own little horn rimmed spectacles.
No.
I know, for example, that my mum and dad would want to watch things that are on BBC Three. They don't have a laptop that they can plug in. They just want to watch it on the telly. They pay the licence fee. These things being funded by stuff like that, and then they cannot access
But
it
the options
without
is,
buying something else, you fascist.
the alternative is no BBC Three. So at least having it online, you've still got it.
No, you know what they can do? They can stop doing all this shit stuff with always trying to make cuts all the time. Keep it. It's worth it, for God's sakes.
Who's going to pay for it?
I think when they sell it abroad to other countries, I'm sure that they could keep BBC Three going. I am so sure of that. Think of the money they make with stuff like
I
Doctor
tell you
Who.
what the BBC should do. Actually, they've got so much archive material. If they sold lots and lots of the old shows, I mean, people would buy even old stuff.
Well, you know Dave.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's the other channel? UK Gold.
For a minute, I thought this was a friend of yours called
Dave.
Dave.
Dave and UK Gold. I think it's UK Gold. They're both BBC channels, but they are commercial channels, and that's why they get a lot of old BBC footage on there.
I'm not sure they're owned by the BBC.
The BBC's got something like 50% or 60% of it, and it basically generates additional income. And likewise to BBC Worldwide, BBC America, they are doing all manner of things to generate income on a global sphere. The one issue at the moment, though, is because of old Clarkson, the big knobhead, punching the producer and getting fired and bringing the entire whole thing of Top Gear down. Top Gear made absolute a fortune. It made the BBC.
Well, they sold the
megabucks.
format as well.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a Chinese Top Gear as well.
Yeah, there's ones in other countries. In fact, I'm
There's
sure.
an American one which is absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, they've met all the actors. They've met the American ones, haven't they?
They
Two
really
straight-laced the American one.
There's
They
a
haven't got
race
anyone
car
drinking
driver and
G&T while driving.
But they have no chemistry. They really haven't, or personality.
You
Not that
need-
Jeremy Clark. I don't accuse Jeremy Clarkson of having a personality.
Well, I think Jeremy Clarkson is a knobhead, but it was hugely entertaining. The fact, like when he was driving around with drinking a G&T and got told off for that and didn't think what the problem was, obviously he's a melon. But the fact is, as a group, it was just fascinating to watch because they were just really, really badly behaved, and that made great television.
People want to listen to people forced to be together who don't really like each other.
The Big Brother. Okay, we're going there, are we?
I'm only joking.
I was going to say though, Celebrity Big Brother.
I haven't watched that though.
They tend to. I don't either, but it's the same sort of concept.
Yeah, they put people who should never exist together. There's some people I've always thought of. I worked with someone. His name's Jonathan, and I could never have imagined. You know him.
Yeah.
Is that the guy that I met that we tried to hook up with that girl that we...
You tried to, or went horribly wrong. But I could never imagine you and him, Raul, in the same space.
I found him hard work.
He probably found you hard work as well. I just couldn't imagine that the
He's
both
a nice
of you
bloke.
existed.
Just hard work.
Yes, he's a very nice man. I don't want to name him or anything, but yeah, I just couldn't
Apart
imagine
from
you
his
and him.
name.
His name's Jonathan. Yes. And he loves cricket, but so
I really liked going back to that. I really like Mr. Norrell, the actor, and I have no idea what he's called, but he should be more.
Eddie Marsden.
Eddie Marsden.
Yes,
I like him.
He's a very good actor.
Yeah.
He is, and he's meant to be brilliant in this as well. In fact,
Yeah.
as I said already, everyone who's in this is meant to be top notch. They reckon this is if there's any show you're going to watch this year from the BBC, this is going to be it. They've actually been heralding it as at the moment. They reckon that it's a golden age now of kind of English
they
TV
pulled
shows.
their finger out. There was a period where they went through the lowest common denominator and started regurgitating this reality TV bollock format and just chipped
Reality bollock.
Well, it's just.
There's a reality show.
We have, as a nation, created some of the best TV formats the world's ever seen, and also some of the worst. And reality TV, I think, happens to be one of the worst.
It was the best of TV. It was the worst of TV.
But I'm sure Charles
do you remember-
Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities reality TV show where we chop someone's head off at the end of every week. Highbrow.
Do you remember Invasion Earth? Was it called that?
Yes.
And they changed the tack of that story basically time and time again. And at the end, it was just basically, the invasion happens, everybody's lost, and the whole Earth is lost. And you think that's British sci-fi and British sort of telly. That it's just depressing, But I remember stuff like that.
Quatermass and
stuff like that. So it's good. I'm hoping that they don't kill everybody at the end of that. So it becomes really dreary. One thing that's really been missing out of these things is a sense of humour, and I think it threatens to have that sense of humour. So that's good.
They have said that because the books it's based on are really popular, and they've said that the TV show, the actors who play the characters are a bit more caricaturish than they are in the books, but that's not going to bring it down. They're making it add something to it. That there is this feel of kind of.
It's quite a fanciful, fantasy, jovial sort of thing. So, and plus as well, it's set in. Is it the Georgian era?
It's Napoleonic times. Yeah.
Yeah. So that in itself was quite a farcical period of history as well. So
yeah.
In what way? I'm really interested. Why do you think it's...
Are you thinking about like the kings? Like you got Farmer George, one of them was called. You got Mad King George and stuff like that, and you got the Prince of Wales, who was a lunatic.
Yeah, and just like the fact that you're dealing with Napoleon himself, he's quite a caricature, and all the stuff about him being short when he wasn't really short, and all the propaganda and all the other.
Oh right, okay. So
flamboyant.
You're thinking like satirical. It's quite a satirical age.
Yeah.
And you got some really good kind of. This is on a different tack, but since we do about cartoons and stuff, you got some really good kind of caricaturists in that time as well.
I forgot his surname.
You like Crookshank? You're talking about?
No, John
Bon Jovi.
John.
Living on a Prayer.
Oh,
the famous
saw
Napoleonic.
I've seen an exhibition of him. I've forgotten his surname. John.
Gilray.
Gilray, yes.
Yes.
Gilray? Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, all of them were. There's a famous picture, and it might be by Gilray or it might be by Crookshank, and it was of all of the kind of European powers cutting up a pie that's Europe.
Yes.
That picture has been used over and over again by different caricaturists all the time. Whenever there's like some kind of battle or some kind of disagreement with big powers, that image of the world being sliced up like a pie gets reused.
So it was a golden age of innovation and war, and not that war's golden, but you know what I mean. The whole world just changed.
Yeah,
in that period.
Well, the exciting thing about the Napoleonic War is you've got, and this is only because I read a lot of the books by Bernard Cornwell, who wrote the Sharp books, and I was reading this book and it was about longbowmen from obviously Agincourt from a long time before that. But he was talking about the fact that a group of Welsh longbowmen, if they were to take them out of history and then put them in time and put them against a group of Napoleonic riflemen, the longbowmen would have not only been more accurate, the high rate of fire, but they could actually fire further.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that every man had to train something like 4 hours a day.
It was a law, wasn't it? A law passed.
And that was amazing, the fact that you go forward in time and then you've got these, you think as you go forward in time things will be getting better and that the rifles they would have had would have been, but actually they weren't.
At the time the rifles would take people's fingers off.
Yeah, if you load them wrong for that.
Through inexperienced use.
I remember being told once, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but sideburns.
Yeah.
That they got their name originally because you would have them if you were like a rifleman, because the flash from the charging pan would take your hair rather than your skin. I don't know how true that is, but that's it. Sideburns.
It's a fire to hair. So if you set fire to your hair...
It's not like you'd be there going, okay, fire, and then your whole head would explode. It's just
well, sometimes it probably would.
I'm sure people caught fire quite a lot all the time. You never see that in stuff. So it's meant to be really interesting, and it's something that I would suggest we all keep our eyes on. I can't wait for the first episode to come out so we can watch it and talk about it. Now the next new show, in fact the next 3 new shows are all from Fox. We're not being sponsored by Rupert Murdoch, although it'd be nice, wouldn't it? I would love to be a shill for Rupert Murdoch.
Fix a few elections.
I tell you what, your sort of extremist views, Raul, they would love that. If you could start banging on about Obama being a Muslim terrorist, that'd be ace, wouldn't it? Barack Osama.
Obama, Osama.
What was the other one they said? Like Birmingham was a Islamic state or something?
It is, yeah.
And
It's a closed city.
Yeah, if the brainy dude in the wheelchair,
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking, yeah. If Stephen Hawking was British, he'd be dead or something. The NHS would have killed him off. That was the other one.
Yeah, the Daily Show did that. They sent somebody into Sweden, and he basically reported back from Sweden as a sort of, in this hellhole, where strangers come up and invite you to their home, and you get free healthcare and all that sort of thing. So very funny.
I think the interesting thing about Scandinavian countries, though, is
they speak funny there, don't they?
Well, no, they earn more, they're taxed more, but everything works. Yeah. And yes, they've got free healthcare and all these other privileges. But the cool thing about the society as a whole is everybody is they believe like they own. For example,
they're more equal. So the difference between the highest paid and the lowest paid isn't as big as it is.
Yeah, and people have to feel they've invested. People believe their health service is their health service. It's not the government health service. It's their health service, and the difference that breeds in terms of attitudes. And anyway,
yes. Are we?
So I was setting something up because I wanted to. We're going to talk now about these Fox ones, but I was enjoying your rant there. The next thing we're going to look at
this looks ace.
It's funny to say that because the next thing I want to talk about is a new TV show that's going to be coming out on Fox in 2016 called Lucifer, based on Neil Gaiman's comic book series, which from Vertigo, which looks really, really interesting. So, Raul, what did you think of it?
I thought it was amazing. Like, I only saw the trailer, but I really, really liked it. The devil has always been, from my point of view anyway, quite an ambiguous character. Never necessarily good or necessarily evil, just something that, a creature that facilitates, shall we say. And I just think it's going to be brilliant. I'm really looking forward to this.
So the premise is, bored and unhappy as the Lord of Hell, the original fallen angel, Lucifer Morningstar, abandons the throne of hell and retires to LA, where he owns Lux, an upscale nightclub. And the first episode features him charming various people, and he's with this young starlet who gets gunned down, and then he decides that he needs to punish these people. So that's which actually, going back to what you were saying about the way that Lucifer is very ambiguous in kind of mythology, there's some versions of it have the devil's the ultimate evil. Other versions have that he's doing a job.
Yeah. Depending on where you read perspective, and also as well, the devil as a horned, fiery creature doesn't really exist in scripture. Doesn't exist in any of the Jewish texts. Doesn't really exist in any of the biblical texts.
It makes for much more interesting philosophy if you say human beings have got free will, and they're just doing a job like Michael Gove did a job, or David Cameron is doing a job. Then it gives you free will at least.
But then you get your comeuppance at the end. That's the theory, isn't it? You've got your free will, but if you you drop the milk off
little children. Yes, you're thinking of Margaret Thatcher. Yes,
she's very good to the services, by the way.
She was. Yes.
She was a good conservative because she screwed the country.
No, I don't. I think history should be a bit kinder on Thatcher.
Welcome to the politics show today. She whopped the arches. That's all I'm going to say. And while she was in power, I knew for a fact that someone kidnapped me, she would send the SSS. The SS
from 1945.
She'd send the SAS to kick their arses. And you know what? They wouldn't just do it secretive like they do it now, or like SEAL Team 6 do. What they would do is, they would do it on live TV, and they'd come in for a window, even if they had the fucking keys to the front door. The Iranian embassy siege. Happy times. There's another. This is obviously by, I mentioned Neil Gaiman. There's another Neil Gaiman comic book which I read, which is really interesting, and it was about the angel Raphael trying to, not the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, trying to, I think it's Raphael. No, sorry, Ariel. The Little Mermaid.
Slightly different.
Wanted to marry a prince, and so gave up her fishy. No, that is the Little Mermaid. He was been given the job by God to investigate. There's been a murder in heaven. And he goes to investigate it, and what he finds out is that the angels are all working on emotions and feelings and concepts as they're building everything. and he finds out that this particular angel was working on this concept called love, and so he was murdered. And he finds out that and all the angels kind of look very androgynous and all that. And he finds out that the partner of this angel was given another job by God to come up with a new thing called jealousy. And so he ultimately murdered his partner.
So jealousy was all the rage then?
It was all the rage.
Hey!
So,
Jesus.
So when this...
I take that joke back. That was a bad one.
When the angel kills this other angels, then God decides to kill him. Because he's broken the rules, even though they come up with the idea. And in the story, it's really interesting the story gets told, because at the very end of it, Lucifer, who's the number one angel of heaven, you see him looking over, and he's not happy with the fact that God basically made these things happen and then punished someone, but he put it all into practice.
Well, the Ariel, if I'm right, in some Gnostic faiths, is believed to be like a fake god. So they believe like you've got like a real god, which like exists around everything.
Uriel, they pronounce it, or Ariel.
I can't.
I know it gets whiter.
Well,
they like Perseus, the other angel.
They believe that they've got this like there's this like god that exists around everything. And they've got like this kind of fake god in the middle, which created reality, and reality itself is evil. And this fake god that created reality is evil, and the god around all of that is pure. And Ariel, according to some Gnostics, I might be wrong, is believed to be this kind of this fake god, this Demerge or something.
Consider the Onion. I hate people who say stuff like that. And this is different, not what you're saying.
Consider the Onion.
The wall's like a big onion, and in the middle it's all rotten. And it's nice to go out.
Well, I mean,
What
essentially,
sort of
that's
onion
what the
do-
Gnostics
what
sort
sort
of
of onion do you?
believed. So yeah.
Well, the thing is that I don't really hold with a lot of the Gnostic stuff. I don't like the pointy little hats and the pointy ears and the stupid beards. And I don't know why the people would want them in the front garden fishing. Is that gnomes?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's no.
Oh, shit. So, yeah,
I like Tom Ellis in it. Tom Ellis from Miranda.
Are you bringing us back to the point
Yes,
again?
I am.
Well done. I
Yes.
was going to, and then I got carried away talking about gnomes.
No, he's very good. He's
He plays Lucifer in it for all those listening.
Yeah.
And if you look at the trailer, it's available on... if you actually go to www.fox.com/Lucifer, you can see not only...
Don't go on Fox.com. You can look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, go on YouTube. Screw you, Rupert Murdoch. You ass. If you go and watch it, he is quite charismatic and quite naughty. It looks like it's going to be a fun TV series.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, some of the reviews I've read of it, people saying, I don't know if it's based on the trailer or not, they don't like the look of it. Some people say it looks a bit shit.
What, the Lucifer, they think it's shit?
There's a few people who've been looking at the trailer said they don't like, but they actually said that the next thing we're going to talk about, Minority Report, looks good.
Well, they're knobheads.
Yeah.
Honestly, Minority Report looks dire. But
A lot of Americans believe in heaven and hell, don't they? And biblical truth and all that sort of stuff. So maybe they don't like the idea of, they can stomach the idea of zombies, but they don't like the idea of the actual Lucifer not being the bad guy, basically.
Yeah.
Or not just being bad. Maybe that's...
He's just doing a job.
Yeah.
But that to me it makes sense. He's just doing a job. Like the Hangman or the.
It's true. I'm with you on this, Rob. This whole kind of premise of this show makes sense. The idea that Satan is doing a job, leaves hell, sets himself up at a nightclub in LA. There's nothing I can question about that one. Perfectly makes sense whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does make sense if you step back and look at the look at the idea.
Forget about everything
It's all
else.
about the bloody devil for starters. So therefore, anything in this flight of fantasy could make sense.
The thing about this is, if they stick to Neil Gaiman's writing, it's going to be awesome because Neil Gaiman is one of my favourite comic book authors. He can mix kind of serious stuff with some quite funny stuff.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. It needs humour in it, stuff like that. It just can't be all heavy and
It looks like
the
it's going to
Americans
be
do it quite well. To be fair, they inject. They get English actors to play it, and that's another thing they do, right? I think.
Yeah. Why are we always portrayed as a villain when it was your lot that had tried to take over Europe?
Oh look,
Because
we've moved on from villain to mad scientist.
Germans are not the ultimate enemy of everything. You cannot talk about the fact that Lucifer is played by an English guy. Therefore, why is he not? It's Lucifer. Why is he not a German?
Because
I
nobody would
suppose,
be able to understand them.
But also as well because Lucifer has to be like charismatic and cool and really.
Oh my fucking god! Germans, gypsies.
Well, there we are. No, but I mean, part of it is, I think, the
My great uncle invented the tank, by the way.
The War of Liberation.
What?
You know, the war that you had with like with the American.
Oh,
What's it called?
The War of Independence.
Yeah, War of Independence. There you go.
Where they won 6 states back and then paid for the rest.
Yeah, and it was
so
also
viewing figures dropping in America.
And it was also because we were fighting the French at the time as well. We were fighting wars on many fronts. So
2 bombers, yeah.
Or was it because the Earl of Sandwich liked playing poker, couldn't be asked to get his backside into gear and actually plan a proper kind of strategy?
All right, sorry.
But that's why I love sandwiches. In fact, Englishmen all love sandwiches, and we love them so much that we actually gave up America. No country will claim recognition for you, Raul, to be honest. But that's what they say.
You're a persona non grata.
England lost America because of a sandwich, because the Earl of Sandwich wanted to play poker all the time. He was meant to be arranging a lot of stuff, apparently.
He didn't want to kick ass.
And he said to his butler, I want something that I can eat in one hand while I am playing cards. And obviously the Magnum ice cream hadn't been invented then. So that's how the sandwich was supposedly invented.
There's loads of food that you can eat with one hand.
He was a dick.
Soup? just do that.
Yeah, but that's what they say, the sandwich was invented. Again, we've gone completely off the fucking point.
Has your dog farted?
That's Andy. That's one of Andy's. You smell the protein powder and desperation.
It does smell like protein powder, yeah. Oh.
And desperation.
And shame.
Yeah, and shame. So that's Lucifer. So what we said, so this is based upon characters by Neil Gaiman, Sam Keith, who I think did The Max, which is a cool comic book, and it's from the Vertigo imprint. It's a story of a fallen angel who we said goes to LA, played, as already mentioned, by Tom Ellis. Charming, charismatic, devilishly handsome. He's retired and then he gets drawn into this kind of murder mystery type thing. So it looks like it's going to be pretty cool.
As long as it doesn't become like a cop drama.
Yeah, that could happen. Although I think there will, because the problem with a lot of shows is in America like that is they make it very kind of procedural, so that when they do enough of them, they can get it syndicated. Whereas they have to do shitloads. I mean, do you have to get syndicated 100 or more?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It could end up being just like episodic type.
Yeah.
Not that's the problem. I want them to have an overarching. I want them to follow the comic. For fuck's sake,
Yeah.
follow the comic. Which leads us on to the next Fox show, the second of the 3, and this is Minority Report.
Looks shit.
Based on Philip K. Dick's story. Also, and it follows on from the film which was by Steven Spielberg and starred Tom Cruise, the famous Scientologist homosexual.
Yeah.
You can't say that. There's loads of people.
So is that going to be the beep beep in the podcast then?
Yes.
Or are you going to stand by it?
I don't mind Raul being racist, but
okay.
I do think Scientologists will come and get us.
I wasn't being a proper racist though. Like I was being like a casual racist. Like
I'm glad that you think you know how to be a proper racist. And that you draw the line just short of that.
Yeah.
That's
Don't
very
worry,
good.
he ain't a proper racist. He ain't put in the racist hours that you need to do. You need to do like 1,000 hours of racist things to be a proper racist.
And you can get your racist card taken away from you if you do not do 1,000 hours in a year.
So, I must say that if tomorrow I wake up and there's a gypsy camp on my front lawn, I'm so going to be annoyed with you. Admittedly, if there's a bunch of Scientologists there, that's all on me. That's all I'm going to say. Incidentally, the Lucifer we just watched, which we said was from the comic by Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman's mum and dad were the heads of the Scientology Church of England at one time, the English branch of it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, very interesting, but nothing to do with what we're talking about. So we watched the trailer, and again, you can watch this online. This is set in the year, well, this was the film, was set in the year 2054, where pre-crime is specialised section of the police department. However, this follows on from the film. If you remember at the end of the film, they were getting rid of the precogs, which they were called. And so this is set after that, and this is one of the precogs, these people who can see into the future and see crimes. Now, in the film, you had about 3 of them, and they work together so they can see it and they can tell you who's going to kill someone.
Yeah.
They don't have that anymore. So this is going to be a police procedural drama with someone who sees glimpses of the future.
It sounds shit. It looks shit.
Isn't that a little bit like The Dead Zone? Stephen King's The Dead Zone.
And yeah, they did a TV show of that as well, didn't
Yeah.
they? That looked quite interesting.
They're just cashing in on the films. Now, you've made an interesting point. Your clairvoyance.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not... I mean, the original film was very interesting because the whole point was how can you be convicted of a crime that you haven't committed, that you may very well have thought about, but you haven't actually committed yet. And here it's just somebody sort of having some sort of precognition. In fact, they do that in A Person of Interest, just with a different rationale. It's the machine which finds people who are involved in some sort of... So the idea is not exactly fresh out of the tin.
I'd have rather seen this set before the other film, when they actually have the precogs.
So because they develop it.
Yeah,
don't they?
or even sod the film and do their own version.
Yeah.
And show the character kind of on the run. Or even the first season he's a policeman, but he starts having nagging doubts about it.
Yeah.
I just think that you've lost the best bit, and that was finding out that the precogs maybe aren't always right.
Yeah.
That was like in the film.
Yeah.
So...
Where's Paul when you need? Because he would have said franchise,
Matter.
but in this case, it's actually just tying it into a sort of a franchise, which is a quite a well-known film, and that's, I think, if you'd pitched the same idea without attaching it to that film, I don't think it would have got made.
Yeah, this
I
to
think
me,
it's a pretty weak
I think
idea.
if this
Otherwise-
makes it through a full season, I'll be surprised. I can see it being something that just gets cancelled after one season quietly, and we never hear from it again.
Do you think they'd cancel it, or do you think they'll just flog it a dead horse because of all the money that's been pumped into it for the franchise and all the other stuff?
I just don't know who's going to really, really want to watch this.
I don't really want to watch it. I don't know anyone that would want to watch it, but do you think they'd just be stubborn to just keep... they commission loads of episodes already.
But Fox has bought these are three different shows, and these aren't the only ones they're bringing out. These are just the three ones that fit in with the remit of this. They bring so many out so they can drop most of them.
Right.
So I don't see this. I think they're trying it. They throw money at it, they try it and see what happens. I cannot see this going longer. If in like a year's time we come back and it's on its 5th season because there's been so much kind of interest in it, then I will feel like a knobhead. But
yeah,
I just can't see it.
There are loads and loads. I mean, do you remember Almost Human?
Yes.
I really liked that. And it got cancelled. I know it had Carl Urban in it. And that's so, acting-wise, they had quite a good... Although he did do that Judge Dredd movie. But, which
Can I just say, Florian, I like the Judge Dredd movie.
it didn't make full use of Carl Urban, though, did it?
No, and also, the
Carl
problem with it
Urban?
as...
Yeah.
The country singer.
No, the actor.
Yeah, the actor. He played Bones McCoy in the new Star Trek ones.
Oh,
I
thinking
really
of
like
Keith
him,
Urban.
but in Judge Dredd, I mean, I suppose because Judge Dredd is sort of emotionally crippled anyway, you don't get to act the full range of whatever you're able to do.
I think he did a real good Dredd. My problem with that film, and it's only a small problem, was they showed him driving through Mega City and it looked just like some run-down bit of America. I wanted to see the huge, great big Mega City kind of tower blocks that they lived in. They didn't make it visually, for me, look enough like the comic book.
Yeah, there wasn't enough humour in it for me.
But he kept his helmet on. No rude jokes implied.
Some sort of euphemism there.
Just when in the Slice Stallone Judge Dredd at that film, as soon as he took his helmet off, I thought, you just ruined it all. You never see Judge Dredd's face. So...
Yeah. In Sylvester Stallone's case, of course, you really wish that he had his helmet at all times.
Yeah, well, if he'd have done that... And the thing is as well, Judge Dredd is clearly a young Clint Eastwood. He's a thin, tall guy. He doesn't look huge and muscly in any of them. He is Clint Eastwood. So that's who he's clearly based on. And I don't think Sylvester Stallone is... to me, he looks quite short.
Yeah.
I think he is quite short.
Yeah.
But
I wonder how tall he is.
I wonder if you could loudly ask your phone on this audio podcast.
Okay, Google.
Oh, yes, you can do.
How tall is Sylvester Stallone?
Here we go. And well, now we'll all sit and the people listening at home and wait for you to find out.
Yeah, in the time that it takes
He's
anybody
5
else.
foot 10 inches. That's not that tall, really, is it?
Shorter than me. I'm 5'10.5".
How tall is Tom Cruise? He's 5 foot.
He's
Isn't
2'9".
2'9". And don't look him in the eye.
He's like, is he about?
Oh, we're back to the
5'7" or
Scientology
5'8"?
thing, aren't we?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, Tom Cruise.
Although I did really like the Live, Die, Repeat.
Yeah, that is a really
City,
good film.
What was it called? No, City on the Edge of Forever is a Star Trek episode.
The very famous one, isn't it?
Yeah.
City on the Edge of Forever.
What's the actual film called for that?
Oh yeah,
I can
watched
remember
that,
the tagline.
and it was bloody good. That
It was
film.
really good. Yeah,
Enjoyed that.
even Tom Cruise couldn't back that one up.
Look, Tom Cruise
I
has
actually
done
quite
some
liked him in
decent-
that. To be fair, oh god, I mean but not many things I like him in. But that.
I can't. You got Top Gun is a classic.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. Very
Yes,
true.
that's it.
Very true. Anyway,
Yeah. So we spoke about that, and then this is the third and final Fox film. Fox TV show, not film. We'll talk about. This is the Frankenstein Code. Now we watched the trailer for this. Shall I say what I think of it first of all?
yeah, go on.
If I want to see Frankenstein, I want to see a bloody great big monster with his nuts in his neck, so he can't have children, poor chap. And I want it to look like Frankenstein. This show, to me, again, I don't see this lasting very long. I don't even know why it has the Frankenstein name with it.
Well, it's like the $1 Million Man, isn't he?
No, because the $1 Million Man was good. This does not look.
But the concept.
He's sort of a bionic, yeah.
Yeah, like they've got this fella. They've kind of brought him back from the dead, or rebuilt him, or done something to him, and he's now better than he was before.
Yeah, the storyline is you get this cop who's a corrupt sheriff who gets made to retire from his job, and he's an old man. And then someone breaks into his house, and during the robbery, he is fatally injured. They put him in a Baxter tank from Star Wars, and then they basically rejuvenate him and make him back to a young man who, for some unknown reason, suddenly has super strength and other abilities. And then he goes to track down the people who killed. I don't know if his son gets killed or whatever, but they're looking for something to do. It's his son's house, actually, where they're breaking into. And he's investigating it. And I just don't get the... Again...
It's all over the place.
It is, and again, it's like having that really, famous thing in there. Like everybody knows Frankenstein. It's like a cultural shorthand, but like people who confuse Frankenstein with the monster.
Yes.
That's really quite annoying as well. And why it would be the the only thing I can think of is that they reanimate.
Yeah, dead cells. They bring them back.
Dead things, yeah.
Yeah, back.
And he has to. It's a bit like Universal Soldier, isn't it? So he has to go back in the tank every so often. It's either Universal Soldier or Aquaman, both of which are not the top, build sort of ideas of their franchise or their sort of universes. I think that's Jean-Claude Van Damme as
and Dolph Lundgren. Yeah,
Dolph Lundgren, blimey. And Aquaman famously has to go back to water. Although there was anyway, yes, no, let's not go there. It's fine.
Yeah, if I want Frankenstein or something, I want it to look gothic, and I want the monster. I want them to really go to town on a laboratory.
It's called the Frankenstein Code, but there's no Dr. Frankenstein in this. It's nothing. It's basically just they've used Frankenstein as a name. That's the only.
I think that was my point. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry. I was.
That's all right. I know you're a bit tired. It's
Well,
fine.
a bit tired, and also it was my turn in Words with Friends, so I was just. Anyway.
You're such a knob.
Okay.
So thanks for giving us and the listeners your full attention, Raul. You asshole. So yeah, that was the Frankenstein Code that we looked at. Now, that's all I want to talk about on the main show this week. So we're going to leave it there, and then we'll come back in the next show later on this week or next week, and we will we'll be playing Ultimo Geek. We'll be doing Geek Music Face Off, talking about our comic artist of the week, looking at some conventions, and also Florian's new super idea, which is going to be cool. In fact, before we go, listeners, I had an idea for, and I've sent you earlier.
Yeah.
If any of you listening think this is a good idea, because obviously illustration is one of the reasons why I got into doing Ultimo Geek, because I like comic books, like drawing stuff like that. I was thinking there is a old surrealist technique where they came up with ideas from picking random things, and that would generate the ideas. And it was called, I've forgotten the name of it now. Exquisite Corpse. And basically what you do is you pick random words from things and then you form a story with that. And I was thinking I might even start It'd be like a 3-panel strip each week, but we would choose different things to pick the words from, and then as a podcast group, we would actually move the story on based on those random words, and then I would illustrate it. So you would have this story where we could design the characters the first one, and then they appear on there.
Cool.
Do you think I don't know. I don't know if it would work as a podcast and then they could see the strip, but it's just an idea.
Well, we could try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's an excellent idea.
But we can get to the point where if anyone's listening, they could maybe tweet us some, I don't know, a word. Although then they could force it like penises every week. But yeah, I like the randomness of it. So if you brought in some kind of science textbook
if people
and picked
were
something.
to tweet a word and there were enough people that tweeted in words, I could write something to randomise and drag out those words, or take their words and pump it through a thesaurus.
Or we look through them and we choose the ones we like.
Is that not what they do in the Jurassic World film? Pumping stuff through a thesaurus. Hey. So on that terrible joke, so that's this edition of Empire of Geek. We'll catch you all later on. I'm Steve. Goodbye. Florian.
Goodbye.
Andy.
Goodbye.
You must have only said about 7 words in this whole podcast.
7 words of pure gold.
Are you saving yourself for the next show with Ultimo Geek?
It's another 5 there,
Yeah.
he said.
Yeah.
12 words.
I walk
13, 14,
slowly.
15.
Yeah.
Ladies, Andy is a man of many words.
He is.
Less
Why
is
are
more.
you giving Florian and me the biggest crotch display ever at the moment?
Oh, it's just...
With your hands behind your head, the confidence.
He's out crotching the dog.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, hello, boys. And then finally, Raul.
Chill out.
Bye.
Goodbye.
That was ghastly.